YouTube, hello. I am just setting up the camera on my little tiny tripod, and I can see myself because I've got a... We ended up buying a new TV. I've not even explained anything, have I? We ended up buying a new TV. So one of the older TVs now goes in the games room, and the reflection works brilliantly for video, so that's good. Right, so yeah, I've been away for a few months. My natural cycle, really. So first thing first, I'm off work sick currently. I should be in work right now, but I've booked a few days off because I've got the flu. I'm sort of on back end of it now, so I'm feeling a bit better than I was a couple of days ago. Just a bit of man flu. We know how it is. Anyway, I've also got itchy eyes, itchy throat. That's not the flu. That's the allergies. I've always been allergic. When I was a kid, I'd lie on grass. This is going to be a waffling video. I know I'm going to waffle quite a lot in this, but I've not been around for a while, so you just have to deal with it, or you can just leave. I guess you don't have to watch the video, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, when I was a kid, I'd lie on grass. It was always dead itchy. Might have explained this briefly before. So I couldn't understand how other kids would lie there and it's fine. So I knew sort of back then I had sort of allergies to grass. And in the last few years, obviously, as you grow, your body changes. And yeah, I realised that I was allergic to something, and so I went to the doctors to see if I could get anything. I had a blood test and found out I was allergic to grass pollen, tree pollen and dust, and I had high levels of allergies towards them. So obviously it's not great. Most people suffer with some form of hay fever, so it's not the end of the world. And I do have antihistamine tablets which do combat it usually. However, at the moment they've seemed to stop working, whether I've got a bad batch, or I don't know, maybe immunity. I don't know obviously how everything works scientifically, but probably what makes it worse is the dogs. We've got an 8-year-old Pomeranian where we've had since she's a pup. When she's losing quite a bit of hair, I flare up a bit. But you know, last year well, just short of a year, we took on a Doberman puppy, Ouija. He's called Luigi, but we call him Ouija. Ouija, come here. And he was quite small in the videos that you'll have seen most recently from me. He's 1 next week, so he's got much bigger, and he loves attention. He absolutely, it is that breed, but he is attached to you all day, and I think the hairs get to me. So you'll just have to make do, unfortunately, if I'm coughing and spluttering between. I'm also drinking a cup of tea as well, and I'm not going to edit the video. So what we're talking about, so I've got some pickups. It's always good to see sort of pickups, and everything here as well. This is over a period of a few months, and they're absolute bargains. And that's all I've been collecting really. I'm quite, in fact, let me show you what my room looks like right now. So I've got this area. This is a beanbag. There's some bedding down there. TV. This is the area. I've not been in here for the last 5 months, just because of the state it's in. I mean, look down there. That is bedding covering Christmas presents. So this is Santa's workshop at the moment. Boxes stacked to the ceiling over there. There's no space on the shelves for any games. I'm about as far... Never mind. I'm about as far as I can get in terms of hoarding stuff in this room. I do have stuff that I've moved up to the attic. Oh god, I don't feel great. I do have stuff that I've moved to the attic. and it puts you off collecting because I know I don't have space. I think I couldn't possibly buy another console, and when I buy games I can't fit them anywhere on the shelves anymore, so it's sort of pointless. I'm going to try and get through this video without any edits, but I'm going to struggle. So I've not really been picking anything up. Plus, on top of that, I'm quite happy with everything I've got. There's still, you know, 80% of this that I've not even played or got through. The amount of times that as collectors we pick up a game and we show it and we're so excited to finally have it in the collection, we can't wait to play it. Maybe we've never played it before, we've not played it since we were younger, and then we just put it on a shelf and forget about it because we want the next thing, and it's a never-ending cycle. You just want, as soon as you have something, you want something else, and that's what collecting is. You're never truly satisfied with what you've got. You're always going to want something else. Right, I've got 100 games on this console. There's not much more I want for it now. I'm going to get another console and collect for that. Ouija, come on. I'm trusting the dogs, but Ouija's still a puppy. He wants to play with Blossom, who's much smaller and older than him. She's got no interest, so they just moan at each other. Yeah, so in terms of collecting, it's slowed right down. I'm looking at moving next year. Obviously, that's a whole topic of conversation in itself. Interest rates, house prices. I'm hoping there's going to be a crash that comes and I can jump on at a good time. But yeah, it's not looking promising. Currently looking at it, I'd be silly to move next year. But I'm ready to get my own place. Obviously, I'd like to have a games room there. That's something I'd consider. So the collecting will certainly die down until that, because I can't spend big chunks of money, as you'll see with the pickups. So what I'll do, I'll show you the pickups, and then I'll talk about the wrestling. So I suppose people in groups and stuff, so some of you already know, but where I've been since my last video, I think it was like 6 months. But in the past 6 months, I sort of decided I want to be a professional wrestler. So I started training, obviously in the gym, dieting, and then also I found a wrestling school and started training there. So we'll talk about that at the end, and I'll get through the pickups now. There ain't a great deal, so I should get through these pretty quick. First thing first is this blue PS1 controller, the slim sort of remodel. I do have a darker blue one, which is the sort of the dark grey and the more squared port. Port's not a port, is it? It's more of a plug. But I didn't have this one. I think I saw this, I can't remember because it was a while ago, but I'm sure I saw it in CEX and I bought it there and then because I could see it. I've got pretty much a majority of these colours now. There's only a few what I'm missing. So yeah, I saw that in CEX and grabbed it. I will have the receipt somewhere. Next on the list is, so this is an excellent bundle. So on Facebook Marketplace, someone was selling some PS3 games. I'm not massive on the PS3, but there are a lot of games that I've still not played. Back in the day, I remember trading my Xbox 360 and buying a PS3, and I wanted to play Uncharted and just different series of games. Luigi, leave her alone. So there's quite a lot on the system that I've not played. Obviously Uncharted I would like to go back to, although they don't look to have aged all that well. So I saw this big bundle of games and it was for 20 quid, and I thought 20 quid for all them, that's quite a good offer. And plus, I don't know if anyone else does the same, but when you look at games, you see the sort of titles and you can tell who own them. so you can tell whether they were owned by children, whether they're owned by a woman, whether they're owned by a bloke. Just because of the titles, you can make a sort of a judgment call on who owned them. If there were loads of children games, you're sort of put off by going over and buying a bundle, because it's likely that they're all scratched, missing manuals, dodgy discs, and cases and whatnot. But the games that were there, I thought that's a sort of an adult male who owned these games, and it looked like his mum was selling them off. Maybe he's moved out. His mum was selling. That's sort of the conclusion I came to anyway. So yeah, £20. So I messaged, is it £20 for the lot? She said yeah. So I was like, right, absolutely, I'll take them. Come in this Marvel bag, and as you can see, the sort of double stack. There's quite a lot in there. I don't know how many, maybe more than 20 anyway. So it's less than £1 a game. So I'll just go through some of these quickly. I've already, they're in good nick, all of them, but I have cleaned them up. But I'm just going to go through them quickly. So Wanted, a motorbike game, James Bond, Tiger Woods, Duke Nukem Forever, Mafia 2. So you can probably already tell why I thought that they were probably owned by an adult male. Enslaved, Arkham City, Resi 6, Prince of Persia, Transformers Rise of the Fallen. When I first bought this bundle, I thought I'll make my £20 back and trade a lot of them in and just keep what I want, but I've not got round to taking anything in yet. I've not really thought about it, to be honest. GTA 5, Red Dead 2, Arkham Origins, New Vegas, Gran Turismo 5. So I think in terms of, because I collect for the Xbox 360, in terms of PlayStation, I'll probably just keep, I'll probably only ever collect or keep only on PlayStation games, you know, the exclusives, because it's pointless collecting on 2 different systems. Black Ops 1, Metro Last Light, Call of Juarez, is it? Inversion, Infamous, Wally, Heavy Rain. And all these have brilliant discs, and you know, again, I've wiped them all down and cleaned them all, but they were in good nick anyway. Uncharted 2, Uncharted 1, Deus Ex, Tiger Woods, Turning Point, Assassin's Creed 2, FIFA 12, Dungeon Siege 3, Enslaved, The Last of Us, Dead Rising 2, and Uncharted 3. So it's a terrific £20. Absolute bargain, absolute steal. She were quite chuffed for me to pick them up. Oh, I've already stickered them as well, so orange sticker, what does that mean? Manual. So yeah, Dead Rising 2 is missing a manual. So all the rest are probably good, unless they've got stickers on. Yeah, when I saw it for £20, obviously it wouldn't have lasted long. And yeah, you don't get much trading value for PS3, but I'm pretty sure I could trade what I don't want to, make that £20 back and keep several games that I want in the collection. There's a couple more orange stickers there on some of them. But yeah, I've just not spent a great deal of time in a games room, or I've been doing a lot of modern gaming, don't get me wrong, but I've not been doing much retro stuff the past few months. So yeah, I was super happy to pick that up. Oh, right, moving on. So, not quite game related. So, years ago, my first job, I used to work in an ice rink in a cafe. I had a duty manager who was a bit of an artist, a bit geeky as well. He'd like Star Wars and stuff like that. And he's an Everton fan, and he's because he's a bit of an artist, he'd draw pictures of Everton players, put them on sort of Facebook, and then started selling them. And then I think he obviously moved on to draw other stuff. I think he just draws what he likes, what he's interested in. And I saw something once, and I thought I wouldn't mind that, but I didn't message. And then a few months down the line, he put it on again, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to buy it. And it's this Star Wars Mandalorian. So it's ink and pencil. So he's drawn this himself, and I just thought it looked really, really good. It's fantastic actually. He signed it as well. He's got a little signature down there. But yeah, obviously he was my old boss at one point as well, so it's sort of interesting. But I thought I'll buy that, put it in the room, because it's sort of really cool. And not that I've got much wall space at the moment, but hopefully at some point I'll move and I will have the wall space. Right, we're getting there. Oh, time of year, isn't it? Everybody gets flu when the weather changes. Right, another one. I can't remember the price of this. It was either 15 or 20 quid. I'm pretty sure it was 15 quid. Again, Facebook Marketplace. I saw it, 15 quid, manual and everything, and I thought, you know what, I'm going round for it. And it's Pokemon Diamond on the DS. It's not in there because it's actually in the DS because I started playing it the other day. Yeah, Pokemon Diamond. So, obviously everybody who watches my videos knows I'm a big Pokemon fan. Basically, I played the originals. I grew up riding the Pokemania, and when Pokemon Diamond came out, I was in high school. I was in high school when this came out, so it was really uncool to be a Pokemon nerd when you're in high school. So I didn't play. I remember it coming out, and I remember seeing it in the shops, thinking I want it, but yeah, I was trying to fit in, I guess. So it's the first generation that I've never played. Luigi, enough. Come here, lie down. Yeah, it's the first generation that I didn't actually play. So I pretty much played all the others, but that's where I sort of stopped playing. I played most of the recent ones. So yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea, an opportunity to pick that up for cheap and actually play it, see what I missed out on. And again, for 15 quid, bit of a bargain for a Pokemon game. Right, the last pickup before I come to a bit of a story which has some bad news, frustrating story, but we'll show this first. So this was listed on Marketplace for either 25 or 30 quid. I think it was 30 quid, and I thought I'd probably pay that, but I'm going to chuck in an offer. So I just messaged saying, is 20 quid any good? And she replied yes. So I went straight up and got it. Well, it was the day after, I think. And it's a white Nintendo DS boxed. Doesn't have the inserts, but it does have all like the sort of paperwork, the charger, and the console's in really good nick as well. You can tell it's not really been touched a great deal. I think there's a lot of DS Lites about. They're quite easy to come across, and I'd imagine when they came out, especially with the brain training, so brain training came with it, so did Big Brain Academy. They look to be NTSC games, and then she pulled out, she said, oh, I've got another game, Hello Kitty. Obviously at this point I was talking to her about, because she said, I'm guessing it's for a kid. I was like, no, it's for me. I said it's for a fully grown adult. But yeah, it's actually got Bratz Girls Rock inside there. But yeah, she said, I've got that if you want it. I said, I'll take it, why not? But I mean, it's no use to me, but I'll take it. So yeah, Nintendo DS Lite, good nick. It doesn't have the inserts, but it's still a boxed DS, and that's my third one now. I've got a pink one, a silver one, and now a white one. Luigi! I'm going to have to try and speed this up now, because it gets to this point where if he's ignored, he thinks he can just bark around and bully Blossom. Luigi, come here! So yeah, 20 quid. You can't go wrong really, can you? I could probably trade it in and make a profit, but yeah, I've got a little collection of DS Lites now, so I'll keep it going. Right, the last pickup. So this last pickup, Right, so I've had a bit of bad luck in November. So we run two cars, me and my wife. So we've got two cars. Both of them were paid off. Nothing expensive. We're not about finance whips in this family. And one of them was a Toyota Yaris 2008 plate, and it was the head gasket were gone. There were no way it were passing an MOT without spending a great deal of money on it. Luigi, come here. So I decided that we've got to get rid of it. Sold it to We Buy Any Car for, I think I got about 200 quid, something like that. I was happy to get anything for it, to be honest. But it meant that we needed another car, so we needed something new, reliable, because she's got sort of a 30-mile round trip to work every day. Got a new car, and we'd had it for 2 weeks, and some kid decided to jump on the windscreen and put the windscreen through. So that was frustrating. But anyway, that's all sorted now. I say all sorted, I had to go through insurance, my insurance premiums have gone up. But it's the way of the world, isn't it? So there was a bit of bad luck. But it just so happens that when I took that car to the garage to be fixed, I was burgled. I wasn't burgled by your typical robber. I was burgled by my brother. I've mentioned my brother before on videos, but he, in the past, sort of gaming memories, in fact, in the past, when I was still at school, he just went on a downward spiral. He's a scumbag, my brother. He's an absolute scumbag, and I don't mind saying that. And he used to steal from us, so he's obviously a drug addict, but he's got no morals, he's got no code whatsoever, and he'll steal off anyone he can. So in the past he used to steal off us quite a lot. Portable DVD players back when they were sort of new, brand new trainers. He stole 2 original Xboxes off me, handfuls of games, mobile phones, the lot. Obviously growing up, he did his time in prison, not so much for our offences, but stealing from others. It was aggressive as well, so he'd been to prison, sort of come out, and I'd say for the last 7 years he's not really stole from his family. In terms of being a scumbag, he's always been sort of a criminal of some sort. So we'd sort of let our guard down and trusted him more. I took the wife, showing her out to York for a birthday. We spent a couple of nights there. This is last month. No, this is October. And whilst we did, my brother, I asked my brother if he'd stay at mine for a couple of days, watching Oscar, our son, and he could bring his daughter around and his dog, and because he's got a dog who's sibling to mine. So he was like, yeah, and I said you can play all the games and stuff. So he was over the moon. So whilst he came over, I showed him the games room, and I highlighted a couple of games, saying, "Oh, this has gone up in value. This is worth this. Oh, do you remember this from when we were younger?" And the whole while I was doing that, he was taking it all in, thinking, "Yeah, I'm gonna steal them," which is quite bad, isn't it, really? Obviously we didn't know that at the time. So we go away, we come back, he then leaves, and then a couple of weeks later I came home. So I took the car to the garage, I came home, so I took the car, it was around the school run time, so I didn't know if I'd be back on time, so I had to leave my back door unlocked for Oscar getting home. So he spent 2 or 3 days coming to my house. I've got, at the back of my house is a woodland, so he's come up through the woods and sort of tried to catch me on the school run. He's caught me. I weren't on the school run, but I was at the garage. I've got CCTV in them as well, and he comes right into the back door, knowing that I might leave it unlocked. You know, tries his luck and gets in. Walks straight into my room, and steals some games. Now, as soon as I got home, I immediately knew someone had been at least in the garden, because my gate were wide open. He's dumb, is my brother. So the gate were wide open. And then, I went to shut the gate and bring my bin in. As I come back in the kitchen, I was working nights that night, so I bought some snacks, some crisp sweets and some biscuits for Shauna and Oscar. And I'd left them on the table that day, and the sweets were missing, a bag of squashes. And I was looking, I was like, where are those sweets gone? And then, because the gate was open, I was like, someone's been here. So my other brother come round, and I said, has Ryan been to yours? He was like, no, but he come round yesterday, he walks home this way from work. From that moment, I knew instantly he'd been in my house. So I phoned him, and he answered. I said, have you been in my house? He's like, no, why? I'm like, because my gate's wide open. And we had a conversation, and he sort of gave me an alibi that, yeah, I do walk home that way from work, but I've only just got out of work now. Turns out at that moment, he's walking to CEX with my games. Shocking. So, it was sort of left there. I thought it was funny. Like, he's probably come to have a brew. Seen that we're not in. Saw the sweets and thought, oh, I'll take them. Shut up. I didn't really think to check around, but Oscar's phone was on the steps. I've got an Xbox in the front room. You know, all that stuff were there. So I thought, you know, nothing's gone. And it weren't until maybe a week later we were putting some presents in here. And obviously we store our games, don't we? We store our games in alphabetical order. Everything's got a place. And there was some gaps, so I knew some stuff had gone missing. So I cross-referenced it with, I've got them on that price charting. So I cross-referenced my games with those to see what were missing. And as soon as I realised what were missing, I knew that it was Ryan, because I'd shown him those games. So there was Resident Evil 2 on the Dreamcast, Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast, and a box copy of Pokemon Gold. You know, you're talking 250 quid's worth of games. So obviously that was frustrating. I knew it was him. That's when I went out, checked some CCTV, saw that it was him. I was furious then, told the family. I was driving around looking for him. And ultimately, I knew that they were gone. So the day after, because I was on nights, I woke up that morning. I'd contacted the police. I've got no problems reporting my brother to the police, especially if he's stealing from me. And police are, I don't want to say the police are useless, but they've not done anything yet, which is very frustrating. I've been trying to get updates, and yeah, I'm not getting anywhere with this or the car. But anyway, I went to CEX and I could see a Pokemon Gold unboxed, just a cartridge, and Resident Evil 2 on the Dreamcast. So I knew that they were mine. I figured the Pokemon Gold had destroyed the box whilst, you know, carrying it down there. Maybe they wouldn't take it. And I worked it out. It'd have got something like 11 quid for Pokemon Gold, which to me was worth 130 quid. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Then Skies of Arcadia was long gone. It's not a common game. It's you know, there's not many in CX. You don't often see it there, so that'd have been probably swiped up by one of the staff members. But Resi 2 were there, so I told them about the situation. Nothing they can do without police, which was typical. And I thought, how can I prove that those games are mine? Because I keep the receipts in the game, which that's just for me, just to, whenever I go through it, I see when I bought it, how much I paid for it, just out of interest. So I thought, I know, I can prove that they're mine because I put those little silica pearls, those little sachets of silica in the back. So I picked up Resident Evil 2, which was 40 quid. And as they took it to the counter, I said, now, if you open that back compartment, when you open it, there'll be a sachet of silica pearls in. That's how I can tell it was mine. So they opened it and they fell out. I'll show you. Aye! There's nothing there. Yeah, just a little. They're from old COVID, you know, COVID test kits. I'll just put them in there. Come here. So yeah, it fell out. So I was like, that's my game. And they were so awkward as they sort of obviously went through with the transaction and said, yeah, £40. They couldn't look at me. But what was frustrating was, really, if that were me and I worked there, and with the evidence of that, I'd have handed it over and said, look, we can't sell you a game that's yours. Like, it's your game, take it. I can't stop you from taking that game because it's clearly yours. I sort of wish that they had the balls to do that. I understand, obviously, you know, the way the system works, but obviously from my point of view, it's just really frustrating that I'm the one who's, you know, my games have been stolen. That is my game. I can prove it's my game, but I still have to take the hit and pay 40 quid for that one back. Skies of Arcadia were long gone. Pokemon Gold, just as a cartridge, were no use to me. But it meant that I knew I could confirm he took the games there, so I've told the police that, and hopefully they went round and took CCTV. Like I said, I've not had an update. So yeah, a bit of bad news, unfortunate. My brother will never step foot in this house again. I don't even like to call him my brother anymore. As far as I'm concerned, he don't exist. I'm not interested in him. He's not a good person. In general, you know, at his best, he's still not a nice person. But obviously, to do that to me, you know, especially to come in my house whilst I'm not there, you know, it's my pride and joy. I don't own nice clothes or other nice things. I don't. If I've got spare cash that I want to spend on something to treat myself, it's always games, and he's took them from me. So yeah, so a bit of bad news, but at least I managed to get Resident Evil 2 back. I was happy to get that one back because that's one game I've owned, you know, for quite a significant amount of time, probably several years. So they become sentimental. I wanted that one back. Right, so that's all the pickups, the story, a bit of an update. So yeah, so I'm going to talk about the wrestling, and I will try and chuck some clips in there of training. People are trying to contact me, so this is a problem with filming on your phone. So where do we start? Right, yeah, so I'm 31, I hit 30, and whenever I tell this story sort of this way, certainly to people who are significantly older than me, they're always shaking their head. But I sort of hit 30 and it was quite I sort of had a weird do, if you will. I sort of felt that my youth was gone. You know, I'm old. I think I was sort of putting it in terms of footballers. You know, at 30, you're retiring, or your prime is gone, and that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, I'm out. I'm sort of past my prime. It's, you know, it's all downhill from here. And I thought, what have I done with my life? What have I actually achieved? Have I done what I set out to do? What aspirations have I got that I've not sort of achieved just yet? I think on top of that, in terms of family, so I had the snip at 30, which is sort of the youngest you generally have it. So I knew I weren't having any more children, and then my only child, Oscar, is 10. So he's grown up to a point where obviously, yeah, there's always the care, but he can look after himself. I feel like I can make decisions and do things that focus on me. You know, obviously I was 21 when Oscar was born, and you know, from that point, everything you do, you sort of put your family first. And I think now I'm at a point where I'm able to relax slightly obviously family always come first, but I'm able to relax slightly and you know, spend money and time on other stuff that benefits me more than it benefits the family, if you will. I was thinking with work, do I sort of progress with work, but I'm sort of happy where I am. My job, if I was to progress with work, I wouldn't be. So I'm a firefighter. You know, I wouldn't be doing the nitty gritty stuff. I won't be going into burning buildings type of thing, which is what I want to do. So I didn't really want to progress with that, but I felt like I needed something to work towards. I needed to get my teeth into something. So I sort of looked at the likes of like Arnie, and I think I'd not long watched his documentary on Netflix, you know, Stallone, The Rock, and I look at these people and I think they will always look back at themselves in their prime. Well, The Rock won't. He'll look at himself now in his 50s in his prime. But I always thought, I'll look back at myself. Right, come out. He can see his reflection in one of my little pictures, and it scares him. So, yeah, I thought, I'll always look back and I've just been sort of a really skinny guy, or I got to a point of skinny fat, so always skinny, slim build, but you know, the belly had started, the belly was coming, and I thought, I don't want that. I want to be able to look back at myself and think, oh yeah, I was in good shape. No, I'm not going to start taking steroids and go to the gym, you know, twice a day, but I thought if I start training, get myself in shape, get stronger, and, you know, look better, it'll help me fight back against that feeling old. And then I thought one thing that I've always sort of considered a dream job, and something if I could have any job over anything, it would be a professional wrestler in WWE. I mean, you think, especially be over in the UK, of ever achieving that, you know, that not many people do it. Like, I think currently there's only a handful from the UK. If you narrow it down to England, there's not many. In fact, WWE men superstars, I don't know one. AEW got one, but certainly big superstars, I can't see any. So it'd never be sort of a path that you'd think you could ever go down and achieve. But I thought, do you know what? That's what I'm going to work towards. You know, set the bar high, aim for the top, and just go with it and see what happens. Ouija, come out. It's just you. You're looking at yourself. So yeah. So at that point, I set on it. I was like, right, that's what I'm going to do. So I immediately started then with the diet, and I thought, right, let's focus on what I'm eating. So I don't really need to change my diet a great deal. I'm not trying to put on loads of weight or lose loads of weight, but just being a bit more conscious about what food I eat. So for 8 weeks, for 8 weeks solid, I sort of had quite a strict diet where I wouldn't snack. I'd have, after my tea in the evenings, I might have a chocolate bar or a couple of biscuits, but that was it. And then I'd eat sort of clean, you know, chicken and rice, make sure I get all the veg in, get on the protein shakes, extra eggs for sort of breakfast, or, you know, just focus on what I was eating. And then go to the gym. So I was already signed up to a gym. I used to go swimming, but then I started going into the gym, you know, obviously doing some weight training. And then after, I think it was, so I had a holiday coming up, so I think I got back from the holiday, so I must have been about 12 weeks in, and then I thought, right, I'm ready now to look for a wrestling promotion and get involved. So I live in Blackburn in the northwest. I thought, right, it's going to be Manchester or Blackpool. So I started looking around, and I found a couple. There were one in Burnley, which ain't too far from me, but it were closed for refurbishments or something like that. And then there was also one in a place called Coppell, which is, I don't know, maybe half an hour from Manchester. So, yeah, I looked at that and I watched some videos on YouTube, and, you know, I got a nice sort of vibe. I like the atmosphere, the crowd, the wrestlers, just everything is, you know, in the big picture. I thought that'd be a nice place to wrestle and, you know, learn how to do it. So I contacted them. They'd recently been through a change of ownership, and, you know, they'd just started taking new recruits. So I obviously got the message in, went down for my first day. I thought, here, I'll see what it's like. Went down there and I was so keen, I was so ready. Obviously I was the fittest I'd been in a long time. I was in good shape, and I was just ready to get stuck in. At this point as well, I'd watched the old series of WWE Tough Enough, which, if you don't know, it was sort of a TV reality series where a number of contestants would compete for a WWE contract, and they train with Al Snow, and then other wrestlers would come in, so Triple H, Stone Cold, Hardcore Holly. Different wrestlers would come in each week and train them. So I learned quite a bit just from watching that. I started watching current WWE wrestling. It's not something I've ever thought I'd watch, but you know, over the last few months now, I've really got into it and I really enjoy it. And yeah, it's just sort of took over. I bought Al Snow's book, Stone Cold's book. I've read through a lot of books. I've really done my research, watched a lot of podcasts, all the Logan Paul ones, watched documentaries on my favourite wrestlers. So I was so eager to get stuck in that ring, and I thought, I need to show him, you know, that I mean business. I need to show him that I'm not just trying it thinking, you know, I'm just a fan. I need to show him that I want to be a superstar. So one of the first things you learn is your bumps. In martial arts they'll call them break falls, but in wrestling they're called bumps. So one of the first things you do, you do sort of forward rolls, shoulder rolls, backward rolls. I could do all that anyway. I've done all that in sort of when I was in the army. You've got to learn that sort of stuff. So that all come naturally. Straight into bumps. I threw myself. I always remember sort of Triple H on a Tough Enough. So they all do back bumps. You know, that you just chuck your feet out in front of you and throw yourself to the ground and put your arms back and make a big loud bang on the canvas. And when they do it, Triple H goes, right, and he does it with such velocity, such high intensity. And he explains like what's the difference. So I thought, I need to do that. I need to, rather than just go down half-assed, I need to throw myself on that mat as hard as I can. Then he'll know that I'm serious about it. And I did, and it sort of knocked the wind out of me, and I realised how much it hurts. So we got through the first day, and you know, he only had good things to say about me. Obviously, I was then training once a week, and he was quite happy with the way I progressed. Then we upped it to twice a week, and then we started doing group sessions, and now it's only group sessions twice a week, and we do all sorts. We train full matches, we do promos, we do the full lot now. So I always knew that as I'm training, I need to make sure I'm always improving, and I thought, as long as I show that I'm capable, I'll get a spot in his show. So he gave me an opportunity. Came up to be what's known as a not a jobber. What's it called? Yeah, a jobber. Yeah, they call it a jobber. So a jobber is someone who just sells. So like The Rock, for example, he might throw 7 people out of the ring in a Royal Rumble. A few of those might be big superstars. Some of others might just be what you call jobbers. They come in just for that purpose, just to help people win. So yeah, there was an opportunity to be a jobber, to sell a guy who's just changed his character. You know, come in, 2 rookies about to start a match, and then all of a sudden this, you know, this giant walks in and disrupts it and slams both, you know, and we're out quick. And I knew, so people can look at it and think, oh, it's not good for you as a character or a wrestler or whatever, but I knew it was sort of a foot in the door. I knew it was an opportunity to get a taste for, you know, doing something in front of a crowd, and more than anything, I knew it was an opportunity to show that I sort of can be trusted, and I can do the job that's asked of me. So I was mega excited for it, mega excited, and I've got some clips actually on Instagram. I'll try, and I think it's probably already connected actually, but in fact no, it isn't, because it's a new Instagram page. So I will leave a link to the Instagram so you can watch it from there. But yeah, I did it. Everything went perfect, and I just, in fact, just the week just gone, I had my first debut match. Still a short match, but I actually got to achieve some stuff. I got on the mic, did a promotion, and yeah, I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Wrestling's sort of taken over my life at the moment, hence why there's been very little sort of retro gaming, YouTube and stuff going on. But yeah, this is probably, what time are we on now? 40 minutes. I knew it'd be a long one, but obviously people don't have to watch all of it. So yeah, so that's where I'm going. Obviously, after, I think it's been 3 months, after 3 or 4 months training and wrestling, I've sort of realised that it's not as easy as you might initially think. You know, yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll be there next year. You know, realistically, you know, being able to do it as a full-time job is never going to happen. You know, however, it doesn't change the sort of the sights that I've got. I'm still aiming for Roman Reigns' belt. That is, if you don't aim for that, then what's the point in giving it a go? But yeah, it's tons and tons of fun, and I'm excited to see how it develops, and you know, I'm hoping at least by the summer next year that I'm sort of wrestling, you know, a couple of times a month, maybe more, for multiple promotions, and just building up this this character that I'm working on, building up this, you know, second income, if you will. I don't really see it so much as an income maker just yet. Maybe in the future, but you know, in terms of selling merchandise, being paid to wrestle and all that sort of stuff. But at the moment, it's a hobby that I'm just really enjoying. But like I said, you've got to set your goals. You've got to set them high. You know, reach for the stars. In terms of collecting, it takes a lot of time away from that. It takes a lot of time from the playing the games, but it also balances it out. Obviously, to go out and collect, to sit here and play retro games, there's no activity in terms of energy and you know, burning fat, or it's not particularly good for you to spend hours and hours sat playing games. So it balances that side of my life out, where it gives me you know, a level of fitness that, you know, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. I might have been fitter in the past, but I feel I'm always aching now because of the training, and there's always something sore and tight, but at the same time I feel younger. I feel much younger and much better for it all. So I'll leave it there. I'll cut it there. I sort of knew this was going to be a long one. I knew I was going to talk about quite a bit, but hopefully that gives sort of an update to some of you guys who maybe be thinking, where's he been? And then others who I've spoke to in group chats and stuff and mentioned the wrestling. So yeah, a bit of bad news, but mainly good news, and things are good. Hopefully in the future, I'm not going to be picking any new games up unless I see bargains. You know, I'm looking at moving. I'm viewing houses sort of March, April. We'll see what's going on in terms of interest rates and house value and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping I can move sort of early next year, and then yeah, there'll be videos focused on setting up a new games room, which I can't wait to do, because I've never really enjoyed this one because of the shape. Right, well, I'll leave you there. Whenever I start making videos and get back into this, I always start watching videos again, so you'll probably see me popping up on comments and stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, especially if you've stayed the whole time. And yeah, if you want to learn more about the wrestling side, throw me a comment in asking questions perhaps, but I'll leave the link to my Instagram. There's a few clips on there, and that's where I'll post any future stuff. Alright, take it easy guys, thank you, bye bye.